So I decided to go with Vector Off-Road's E-Dock because, well, let's face it, A, it looks really nice. It lays nice and flush with the dash in the new Wrangler. Also, it's very modular. You can use a bunch of different ball mounts, and especially if you're like me and have a ton of parts laying around, you can kind of reduce, reuse, and recycle them, so then you don't have to keep on buying new parts. Also, it allows me to get rid of some of these like suction cup mounts and put other things that look a little bit nicer into my Jeep that I plan to build and make really nice. So that's enough talking about it. Let's go ahead, put it in the Jeep, and get going. So if you were smart, you'd be kind of going through the directions and looking at them. I am just going to kind of try to guess as to how it goes, because it honestly seems pretty self-explanatory. I'm not too concerned about it. So this little lock nut thing in wobber, I don't know, it's a screw. I'm using a 3mm Allen key, and this, you just look at it, it's really self-explanatory, realistically. It's really not too hard to figure out, because look at that, that's already on. You can slide this over to the other side, same thing. It starts kind of like this, slides on. Like I said, instructions probably more helpful than what I'm doing. The packaging is really good. I'm kind of impressed. These are the mounts. The mounts kind of self-explanatory. They go, well, honestly, I'm assuming they go kind of just like that. Inside, mounts inside. Honestly, it's probably the wrong side. This is why directions are helpful, because ta-da. All right, now that the initial bar is kind of put into place, I'm gonna grab the mounts and I'm gonna kind of mock it up outside the car, just so I can, when I go inside, I can just throw it in real quick and just be done. There's these provided little, I have actually a ton of these for like nutserts. It's a little screw. It is a 4mm. And then what you do with it, now I could be wrong because, like I said, I'm not using directions because it's pretty self-explanatory. And most of the time you can figure it out. Should, theoretically speaking, I'm gonna leave it loose, so then when I put it in the car, it's really easy, just one step in, and I'm done. It kind of follows these curves if you really look at it, which is why I'm assuming that's exactly what you're supposed to do. But let's go ahead, hop inside, and finish installing it. All right, now once you're in the car, I have a 4xe, so mine's gonna have this weird little battery pack thing, but there's gonna be two little kind of pocket things up here. You have to take both of those out. I just went in from the side, lifted up. Then you have 4 screws on each side that the mount then mounts into. All right, so now this is with the dock kind of mocked up. It's not really in place yet, but this is kind of, I'm assuming, how it lies. It looks pretty good. However, I feel like I did something wrong. All right, so the next step, you're gonna get all 4 of those bolts in on both sides, and it will start to look kind of like that. All right, so what I ended up doing to kind of get this tight really quick and easy, I got a T15 Torx. I started just spinning it kind of with my fingers to get it all down. It just makes it significantly faster. Trying to go through the camera is actually not very easy. Cool, so now I'm gonna finish tightening all of these down, and then I'll move on to the next step and show you guys what that looks like. I went back and I re-tightened these ones down just to make sure they're snug, and then this is pretty much what it looks like. Okay, so now this is the fun part. Now that this is all installed, tightened up, and all that good stuff, now I have these pieces. So now this is the ball mount. I didn't even think about how to get these in, which is the problem. Okay guys, so I figured a bunch of things out in like the past 4 minutes while I was not recording, because I wanted to see kind of what's going on. Now, I figured it out. Now, each one of these little thingamabobbers comes with, you can't really see it, but that's like a little tight little screw. It goes in this little sliders on this rail, so the slider this screws into, it goes in that, and if you really want to get crazy and like super lock it down, you can. I didn't, so this is what I'm going with right now. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, it looks kind of funky, But when it's in the Jeep, so this side is the side that stops on like the driver's side. I don't want anything like obstructing my vision while I'm driving, so I'm not really gonna have this extra arm on the side. But if you want to, there's the extra arm, then this piece just caps over on the other side. Actually, you can't do that. Never mind. Ignore that. All right, I'm just gonna show you guys like what I'm doing. Okay, so this isn't perfect, but this is kind of what's going on. I was trying to make it so this side, which is the driver's side, doesn't have this kink in it, but I couldn't really do that because in here, in this little hole, it's like slotted, so like you could screw into it, if that's the right terminology. It might not be, but whatever. This piece doesn't have that, so that's something that maybe Vector might want to think about. So then you don't have this piece kind of extending to the driver's side and potentially obstructing their vision while driving. Just an idea that Vector might, hopefully, it's a good idea. Just saying, not toot my own horn. But this is going to be the setup. I don't want any of these balls on this side because I don't think, A, I'm not going to use it. B, I don't want anything obstructing my vision while I'm driving. Passenger side, not as much, so I put this phone mount here for my wife, so when she's, whatever, or, one of the reasons why I bought this baby cam, I could put the baby cam on an arm on this side, and then she could see it, or I could rotate it so it turns out this way, and I could see it, but whatever. All right, now, I'm gonna go put this back in the Jeep, and then I'll show you guys kind of what it looks like. Okay, so now it's in, which is kind of nice. Now I'm trying to figure out like where my phone mounts are gonna go and stuff like that. But let me go ahead, flip this thing around and show you guys kind of like what it is. Okay, so obviously this isn't how it's gonna like stay and stuff, but there's this mount. Now there's this one, which is nice because like if you don't put those little like tiny screws in, you can just slide it back and forth, and then when you find a spot you like, you can be like, cool, I want that, and you can rotate that. And if you want to make it super tight, put a little screwdriver in it, blah blah blah. Super easy. This one, I don't know what I'm gonna use this for, but like, let's face it, this thing's actually really surprisingly sturdy. But this is what I meant by the driver's side. I don't need this right here. So I wish this could have gone right here and just been done, because then you get the Vector right here, it caps it, it looks super nice, clean, pretty. Then the passenger side, they don't need to see, so then they can have that little extension right there. But now I'm gonna play around with kind of the configuration, put everything where I want it to be, and then I'll show you guys kind of like the final result. Alright guys, so like it said in the beginning, definitely not a professional. Read directions if you can. I probably should have, but oh well. But that was the install and kind of like overview and kind of like my thoughts and whatnot for the Vector E-Dock. I actually really like it. It's really sturdy, quality stuff, really nice. Wish they would fix that one little thing where it's like the arm, but like it's pretty good. So that was the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it was helpful. Vector, if you see it, props. I mean, great stuff. But yeah, so other than that, have a good one, guys. Until next time, get out and explore and do some stuff.